The most interesting thing that I learned about Uber is that they have a lot of unethical issues running throughout their company. Whether it's because of their countless number of lawsuits from the taxi companies to the current minimum wage paybacks in the UK, or it's because of their actual unethical workers that are making the rideshare app unsafe for women. Uber is also doing nothing to really rectify these issues, which makes it unethical as they are sweeping their issues under their rug. Since 2014, Uber has had issues with their drivers sexually assaulting women, and 8 years later, in 2022, they're still having these same issues. This falls under Uber's responsibility to vet their workers better to provide a safe environment for all users. It's also unethical that 8 years later, things haven't changed.
The American economy is being significantly impacted by users, drivers, from driving earnings to local spendings to improve transportation options. Also, the revenue calculated has increased over the years. We regarded the study's independent experiment of Uber's economic effects on users, drivers, and riders is to be one of most fascinating features. Talking about the technology, through the app, customers can schedule appointments. The app may display a pricing estimate for the ride. It may vary depending on drop-off location, weather, or the traffic. They can also pay for the ride in advance through the mobile app. In response, the on-call drivers will pick up passengers and drive them off to their locations. Uber's popularity exploded on the social media. Online riders who describe their experience circulate and exchange tales. Politically, more than 25 nations and several issues have led to legal actions against the Uber. Uber significantly increased competition by existing taxi services by growing its operations. Taxi organizations brought many of the earliest lawsuits against the business on the grounds of unfair competitions. How Uber was being categorized with the purview of regulatory framework is a crucial issue. Taking the Belgium example, after the Belgium court decision that 2050 prohibition on private individuals providing taxi companies also applies to experienced drivers, which affected nearly 2,000 drivers.
Uber focus on a wide range of people, and they always try to find the best ways and the best solutions to satisfy all of their consumers. Secondly, it's interesting to know that Uber will always try to focus on their price because they know that people will always compare their price with the public transportation as well as the other apps. And thirdly, Uber is known in more than 15 countries all over the world, and people use their services like everywhere. And it was so interesting to me because I think it's very hard things to expand services like Uber all around the world because they still need to know the culture, people, and everything about that countries in order to be successful. So I think it's much harder than other businesses to work in as a global country, and that's one of their most considerable strength points, which help them to always be one step ahead from their competitors. And lastly, their behavioral segmentation was also quite interesting to me because they mostly focus on the people with easygoing, determined, and ambitious personality, like people who consider their time more valuable than their money. So I think it's a great segmentation for Uber because they really match with their Uber existence, and also those people who always support your business to give them better services.
One of the most interesting things I learned was about the inability of Uber to enter and settle in China, which is the largest market of the world in the food delivery and rideshare category. After years of losing money, time, and effort, Uber didn't get the formula to overcome all the barriers and take a leading position in the Chinese market, which is expected to generate sales revenue over 150,000 million US dollars in 2022. Inefficient management, complex and ambiguous regulations, a great number of emerging competitors, violation of the intellectual property were some of the hardships that Uber faced trying to get into the Chinese market. Uber even created a dedicated company in China with the support and partnership with local investors and tech companies. This new Uber's company in China was launched in 2013. However, some features of the app were useless for users. For example, Google Maps used by Uber as the GPS service, was well known in the country for not working really well by that time in the country. Uber efforts to settle in China were abruptly impacted when Didi entered the game. This new app was owned, founded, and developed by Chinese, and it had completely support from the government, giving them a great advantage over Uber. At the end, the inability to adapt their offering to the market needs to make it a convenient and attractive option drove Uber to lose the chance of being a key player in the largest market across the world.
Market penetration. Uber used a range of sales and advertising techniques to gain market share. They initially gained popularity since they were providing rides lower cost than taxis. When they first entered the market, the Uber VIP loyalty program, which rewards users who use a high-rate driver, is their current method of market penetration. Uber offer a range of discount code on both its Uber Eats and Uber Rides platform. There is also the Refer a Friend promotion, which enable user to send a promotion to someone and receive a promotion in return. The second or number two is market development. In order to determine which, because they may operate in Uber has done a lot of study. The multinational transportation technology business take into account important aspect of local culture when pursuing its expansion strategy. The legality of ride sharing, however, may make it difficult to develop into some one nation. The third, that's mean market product development. They must upgrade their services to satisfy consumer demand if they want to keep users engaged. Offshoring various ride-sharing alternatives at various pricing is one example of this. One such option is Uberpool, which enables a single rider to share the ride with a second person, allowing the routes in order to split the fare. This function has also been implemented by Uber to Uber Eats. The last is diversification. It must be a most difficult of all concept to sell fresh product in a new market, but that's how Uber got it started. They did it by breaking into a new market with a novel product. When they first opened in a new city, they used marketing as one strategy to stay afloat. They offered lower cost than the neighborhood taxis, as we already established, which attach additional users to the network. Thank you so much for listening to my presentation and my group. Stay safe.